All right, welcome back to the Monday Morning Quarterback series that I've been doing. Um, I'm going to start off with a story that I found. I'm not even sure how I found this story, but you know you're old when the ads that start popping up on your website are about funeral homes. I was like, what? Oh no, no, it can't be true. I'm not getting ads for porn sites. I'm getting ads for funeral homes. Not cool. Anyway, speaking of not cool, a big party in Bristol, I guess, police, all that fun stuff. Follow the rules. That's all I'm going to say about it, but follow the damn rules. There are consequences apparently to this, and you sign them if you're on campus. So please don't get in trouble with this crap. I know it sucks, and I know, Dad, but it's like, come on. Uh, let's talk about security then. See, on this side, look, I've got a radio controlled airplane, which maybe look at the guy holding it. Is that an old person thing, like a retiree kind of thing? Probably, because it's pretty expensive, and you can't afford to do it if you don't have a whole lot of time and money and patience to sit in a basement somewhere. My uncle used to build those things. I think you could start getting like psychoanalysis from the ads that you see. Anyway, all right. So this one's about Kerberos, and a new one that's called Alien Android. And basically, this is so I was going to give you. You can read the story, obviously. I was going to give you a couple of tidbits about this stuff. Basically, this is a new fork of Kerberos, and Kerberos has been around a long time as a banking Trojan that was basically originally distributed by being embedded in emails as usual. This one, though, is new and different. This thing, apparently, according to this article, can get around your two-factor authentication. You're using two-factor, right? On bank apps, including Bank of America and Microsoft Outlook. So this thing can get around. Apparently, can extract passwords from different apps, including Bank of America, which that's pretty bad, right? If it's extracting passwords from this. And so what it does is it because here's the thing. As credential stuffing has gotten more complex because people use multi-factor authentication, so that means, oh, I don't have, I had it laying here, but if you're using your phone or you're using a YubiKey or you're using whatever you're using, having the password and the username is not enough, right? So it took, what, 40, 50 years before anybody could get around to that. But we're slowly seeing multi-factor be an option which you need to use. So what happens is this thing infects your device, which I presume you get probably in the traditional way by clicking on something or downloading something. And this rat, which is a remote access Trojan, attempts to steal passwords from at least 226 devices, and there's a whole pile of them listed here. The modern way to do this stuff is, of course, you rent these tools to steal money, and there's a huge underground marketplace which you're probably familiar with, like the dark web kind of stuff, and all that stuff is out there, sort of haunting everybody now. And these developers are putting products out there for people to use when they want to run an attack. So this one, they're saying it's been around since January 2020. Let's look a little bit at how it works. So it's using commonly used malware, Android, steals SMS messages, harvest contact list. So this is the usual phone attack stuff. So they go in, you download something with a rat on it, and it goes through, gets your phone, all your contacts, it gets all your usernames, it gets anything it can get off your phone, and then either emails that or messages that or uploads that to a remote site. Okay, well, that's a harvester, right? So this is what that kind of stuff is like. Key logging is another feature that has long been associated with phone rats, because if I was writing a phone rat, probably the key harvesting stuff would be most of interest to me. because if I could get you logging in, I could get you typing a username password into something. I don't need to get around all those other pieces if I can just capture your username and password when you type them in. But two-factor means things are not necessarily so good. So what this thing does, apparently, is it uses a variety of stuff, and I won't get into all these because I don't actually know what this Android.permission bind notification listener service is. But it can get the content, this is the important part, get the content of status bar notifications on the infected device. So think about how multi-factor authentication works. So you go to log in to Google, and as you get ready to log in, Google says, type in your security code here. Where does the security code go? Phone. So if this rat is running on your phone and they already have your Google, or they can trigger this. So I think this thing goes on. I read this story, but we'll continue. But it basically can trigger a login, and then when the device receives the multi-factor notification, so again, like Bank of America or whatever, then it can actually capture that using this particular permission right here. So this bind notification listener service can be exploited somehow, and that gets the content of that status bar. So now I've got all three pieces, right? I've got your username, I've got your password, and I've got the multi-factor authentication security. Now, obviously, this wouldn't work if you weren't using an Android phone, and it wouldn't work if you weren't using that type of multi-factor authentication. So if instead of getting those little messages, you use a YubiKey, which is hard to do with a phone, you use a facial ID scan or something like that. Not that those things don't have problems too. Says it abuses the TeamViewer application. It gives the bad actor behind the malware remote control over the victim's devices. So TeamViewer is a proprietary, again, it's something on a lot of corporate phones. And, nobody goes out and hacks people that don't have any money. So that, you want to hack people at a big bank in New York or something because they've all got big salaries. And if you get lucky and you get the CEO or somebody, wow. It says it's unclear how it initially spread, but given the malware is being rented out, many different attacks. So basically, my guess would be the typical vector for this is spear phishing again. And that is what is usually done. So I send you, or smishing. So smishing is a SMS messaging attack that is pretty common. Kerberos is an old rat that has been around for a while. I guess it was over a year ago. And it was, but the interesting thing about Kerberos is that it was the first one that allowed for renting the software. So this was, I remember talking about this with some people, and we've been doing news stories all year about the basically malware as a business model that has emerged. And so we're seeing companies, that not only have storefronts on the dark web, but companies that are actually out there with, help desk support, their, we take every major credit card, kind of thing. Changing in this malware world. So basically, if you're a crook, it's kind of the equivalent of being able to hire all the tools you need to go rob convenience stores. It's like, come down to Crazy Doug's one-stop shop where you can pick up a shotgun, ski masks, everything you need, plus a getaway car that we will rent you for 4 hours, must be returned in pristine condition, or you do not get your damage deposit back. It's almost like that. It's just that here's this malicious underground market. Although, malicious underground markets have existed as long as there have been people on the earth. Literally, if you go to these ancient cities, they're like, oh, and this is where the thieves market used to be. And, that's where you went to buy a poison dagger or something. Or Temple Street in Hong Kong, or, I don't even know how long Temple Street has been there, but it's been there as long as I've known about Hong Kong. Temple Street was there, and the night market and all that, and you can go there and buy pirate stuff and all the like pirated goods and all these kind of things. They have lousy customer service. Now that I like. It's like pretty soon you're gonna have a star rating system for all your criminal activities. Like, Bob's Crime, they're not so great. I was there last week, and I was on hold forever. We value your criminal business, but please wait for the next available customer service representative. Or my favorite of all time, da 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 da. That's United Airlines, which if you've ever traveled a lot, you've spent those hours and hours listening to that same song. Da, 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 da. We're United and we love to fly. We value your business. Please wait for the next available customer service representative. Expected wait time 9 hours. And you're going like, yeah, you obviously, yeah. I mean, usually, to be fair to United, those were usually days where there was something really awful going on. I know I got a little off subject there. So the biggest difference between this and Kerberos is this two-factor stealing attack, which is very sophisticated to me. I mean, that's a definite move into a sort of new realm of fear, that the whole concept of the two-factor stuff. Of course, this will get patched, hopefully. So, but in the meantime, here's the other thing I will comment about this, which is you think about your phone, and just like your computer, you have so much stuff on your phone, but people download so much stuff onto their phone with apps because they're small, they're quick, they're free or cheap, and people just download, I'm going to try this, and they download one after another after another. I mean, I've seen, I've been with people on trips and things, and they sit there and download, 100 different applications in 2 days because they were bored. So the potential damage for things like this is great, and as people move their whole lives onto their phones, it gets a little scary. And then I had one more quick story I thought we could look at. This one. This Ring flying in home camera. Now I'm getting cookware. Well, I did order some a pan, so yeah. I'm going to try to close this. This is Threat Post Ad. I just thought this was interesting. So this thing is basically a little drone. I don't know how big it is because they don't give you any scale. I'm sure you could look it up. But basically for $250, you can buy this thing, program it to fly around your house, and take pictures. So this is Ring, and Ring makes doorbells and other equipment. And I was really kind of like put off by this because I'm like, how risky? I actually don't mind having Ring on the outside of my house, and I have some Ring stuff out there because it's really handy and it's got a nice interface. I don't know how I feel about having one that flies around inside my house. I think I would probably get past it. It's like, I'm so boring, I don't really care if, somebody takes it over and flies around my house and goes, oh yeah. But I definitely think that now you're starting to edge into that realm of Alexa's always listening. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that. Alicia is always listening to me. And Alicia, is listening to me and putting up ads. And I assure you that is true because I have tested it. We have stood in front of Alicia and talked about different things and immediately started seeing ads for that. And we tried to pick something that we had not talked about normally. I don't remember what it was even. It was something weird. I think it was about joining the military. And we started getting all these ads, I was like, we just did a whole sketch. It was fun. It was just like, gee, Ma, I think I might join the Marine Corps, and next thing you know, you're getting ads for the military. Like, I was like, uh-oh. I think I've done it now. But I mean, imagine this thing that's going to take off from the base and fly around the house. Now, obviously, I don't really feel like, I guess if you're really paranoid, so like this thing. So I remember when I was a kid and we first got an electric door opener for the garage, and we were driving, on vacation, and we were probably 2 hours from our house, and my brother pushed the garage door opener, and my mother freaked out and was like, oh, we're going to have to go back now. What if that opened the door? And, my dad's like, oh, come on. There's no way that could have opened the door. And my mother literally worried about that the whole week because she was like, what if it opened? And my brother's like, well, I'll push it again. And she's like, well, that might open it if it didn't open the first time. So I guess if you're away from home, it might be interesting to be able to fly this thing through your house to see if a window's been broken, or keep an eye on your pets. I know what my cats would be doing if this thing was flying around the house, and probably the last thing you would see is a cat landing on top of the drone and taking it out. But people get really worked up about privacy. I'm not sure why. It makes me wonder what everybody's doing, but I do get it. I mean, you don't really want. I mean, especially if you don't want somebody compromising this thing and capturing the footage from this thing. If they're flying, if it's flying around your house and maybe you're doing something private. We won't get into that. But I mean, you're doing something you'd rather not have other people seeing, or so it's definitely something I would probably consider as an amusement purpose. Like a toy. It might be fun to be able, when you're away from home, and if you travel a lot, it might be nice to be able to check your house out while you're away to see if something was going on, or there's water pouring out of the refrigerator. I had a scene it never happened to me, but it had happened to a friend. We were in Hawaii at a conference, and we came back and his house was flooded, because his refrigerator, like a pipe burst or something. But I mean, you still have to use it. And of course, the question is, where's the footage stored? Who else can use it? Who else got access to it? What if somebody could hack it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you really probably don't want to, have the drone, pushing the bathroom door open and sort of into the shower kind of thing. Now, I haven't had trouble with anybody hacking my Ring devices, but I don't know where all the footage goes. So if somebody wants to check out my driveway for my Ring footage, well, they can. But, now this thing's going to be inside the house. It could be if you could hack it, it might be a convenient way to, get data on the house if you were trying to check it out. I would say if you want to use one of these, be very careful. I would probably wait till it's been out for a while and people start posting stuff about, its behavior and what it did. And so a couple of stories today at a house party, and that's all I'm going to say. So we've used up our time, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. No parties, and get tested. Bye.